Hey, how you doing? Greetings from the dank basement. I'm Paul with another nasal snuff review for you. Simply Snuff, in my opinion, started out a little bit rough. Didn't much care for about half of their initial offerings, although some of them were very, very good, very enjoyable. But a couple of them, in my opinion, were kind of duds. But as I continue through the range, things seem to be getting better and better. We'll find out with this one. This is Buccaneer. I'm sure I'm not holding up the tin correctly, and you probably can't see it. But this is Buccaneer from Simply Snuff. Now, this is described as a medium to fine grind, moisture medium to slightly moist. That kind of variation in description kind of makes me nervous. Is it a fine or is it a medium snuff? Is it moist or not? They kind of fudge in the description. Supposed to smell like cherry with spicy notes with some other fruit flavors. Let's find out. All right. I got a comment about a month and a half ago from a guy that I have never heard from before who said, "Your reviews aren't really reviews." I wish the guy had gone on to explain. I'm presuming it's a guy. Whoa, just from opening the tin, not even getting my nose near it. Yeah, you definitely get a cherry-like smell right away. I didn't even have to hold it up to my nose. This is awesome. It is loaded with aroma. But this guy anyway said, "Oh, you're not really doing reviews." Exactly what am I missing? If you have suggestions on how I can improve my reviews, be sure to leave me a comment, or you can always write to me at unclesquinty@gmail.com. I will be happy to reply to your email, and I love to hear from you. All right, in the tin. Yeah, I think we could safely call this a fine grind. It's not dusty. The moisture is such that it adheres to my fingertip, makes them dirty, but I certainly can't make a little pill of the snuff. It doesn't have enough moisture to hold a Prilla together. But it should be an easy sniff. In the tin, it smells lovely. It smells tremendous. It smells very sweet. Again, there's just a little hint of something earthy. And something even vaguely alcoholic. It's almost like this was flavored with Kirschwasser. Well, and there is a note of something medicated in there, maybe camphor, but I can't really tell. Maybe even a little bit of menthol. Let's take a pinch and find out what we got. As I said, I expect this to be an easy sniff. It shouldn't be too difficult. Nice grind, very nicely done. Good job, Simon. This looks great. I want to meet Simon face to face someday, and his little dogs too. I would love that because he seems like he would be a hoot to hang out with and have a pint or a cup of coffee or something. I'd love to talk with the guy. His reviews are fun. They're just plain fun. And I suggest you visit his channel here on YouTube, Simply Snuff on YouTube. Yeah, I get the feeling the guy is a nice guy, and I would love to meet him. In my dreams, I still hold hopes for an international snuff summit. If you have suggestions as to where to have it, of course, all my U.S. viewers say, have it here in the United States. We don't even have passports, because most Americans don't. But we'll see. Your suggestions are welcome and solicited. All right, here we go. There's menthol. I get a blast of cooling immediately. And there is camphor in here. I'm pretty sure. Well, let's see if the menthol sublimates the other aromas. I think it might. I'm just waiting for the menthol to subside. So what else is going on, y'all? Oh, I guess I better turn down this news so I'm not infringing on somebody's copyright just watching the 5 o'clock news here in the Midwest. Ah, depending on where you are. I'd like to say a special hello to my friend Irska, who is currently in southeastern France, having a good time. I hope you were enjoying your trip. Buen viaje, amiga. Mm. Y hablando de español, voy a continuar con esta o este revisto después de la parte inglesa. All right. We're going to do the first half of this in English, and then those of you who have no Spanish, you can tune out, and those of you who have little English can hear what I'm saying. All right. I'm smelling base tobacco. You know, it's funny. At least in the case of this snuff, there seems to be an awful lot more aroma going on when you open the tin than when it's actually up your nose. I'm getting what they're calling a spicy cherry, but it's not a sweet cherry. It's sweet enough, but I don't know if the sweetness is coming from the base tobacco or maybe a little bit of camphor in there. Uh, yeah, I have to do another one. It's good. I mean, I like it, but I think they were stretching their description a little bit to try to cover as many bases as they could. Again, it's not a medium to fine grind. It's, to me, I would call this a fine grind, albeit not a powdery grind. It is not so finely ground that you can't do a proper pinch of it without sneezing. That's a good sign. Moisture is decidedly medium. It's not medium to semi-moist or whatever. Is the scent cherry? Not to my nose, although it's really, really pleasant. But we'll see if the second pinch reveals more secrets. Yeah, it's kind of been a sloppy day around here. I got up, I jumped in the shower, of course. Got to wash all my nooks and crannies, but I didn't shave, didn't shampoo my hair. I only shampoo my hair every other day. So today was kind of a jump out of bed, drink a cup of coffee, stumble into the shower, come out 3 minutes later, semi clean, and put on clean clothes. So I'm sure I don't look all that great. Sorry. Close your eyes. Do what I do. Be blind. Here we go. You know, being blind has its advantages. I will say this, to a blind man, there is no such thing as an ugly woman. But I promise you, there are some who smell a hell of a lot worse than others. Bad sign. Uh, it's hard for a blind person to date. If you've hired a driver to take you on the date, parking in a secluded spot to, quote, make out is usually not an option. When I was in high school, I actually had parents shut me down when I asked their daughters on dates. No daughter of mine is dating a blind guy. Turned out all right, though. The girl I wanted to date ended up leaving high school, and it quickly became apparent that her preference is for black guys, and I am not a black guy the last time I checked. I could make a little penis joke here, but I'm not going to. It's too obvious. Or in my case, not so obvious. Yeah, I'm really not getting cherry in this. I'm getting something fruity, but saying spicy cherry is only a very, very rough description of the aroma profile of this. I like it. This is something I could continue to use. Um, the menthol in this is a bit overdone for my tastes. Yeah, they're starting to get Pershalitis. It seems to me Pershal puts menthol in everything. It's not true. There are some things they have. Their schmalzlers, for instance, don't have menthol in them. But pretty much everything Pershal makes, as far as nasal snuffs, snuff tobacco, is heavily mentholated. I hope the rest of the snuff making world does not fall into that trap. Now, why do they put menthol into snuff? If you're new to the channel, you have never heard me say this, If you're a repeat offender coming back again and again to waste your time with me, you have heard me say this. Menthol serves three purposes in nasal snuff. First of all, and probably most importantly, it opens up the nasal passages so that you are capable of perceiving more subtle aromas. Second thing that menthol does is it acts as a natural preservative to prevent the growth of mold in nasal snuff. The third thing that menthol does is it augments your perception of the nicotine. It makes the nicotine bang harder, which is why a lot of snuff makers do put menthol in their stuff. For me, because personally I suffer from menthol rebound pretty easily, I can't do a lot of mentholated snuffs. This one will hang around. I may gift this. This is not for me a 5 out of 5, but if I had the general tastes of what I think are the general tastes of the snuff taking public, I would say that you would rate this as a 5 out of 5. For me, I can't do that. For me, this is good. The best I can give this is a 4 out of 5 just because it's so competently manufactured. The aroma profile isn't really blowing me away. This could go into my daily rotation if I did not have a lot of snuffs ahead of it in line that I prefer. So, bottom line, on the squinty scale, where 1 is dead, god dang, and 5 is delicious, this is going to get a 3.5. If I'm being generous, a 4 out of 5, but not a 5 out of 5. On this one, Buccaneer from Simply Snuff. How's the nicotine, you ask? Good question. It's good. I would say most snuffs, most commercial snuffs, are going to bang the nicotine right around a 5 out of 10, where 1 is no perceptible nicotine and 10 is potentially dangerous for some people if you have high blood pressure, cardiac problems, and the like. A 10 might be way too much for you. This is going to be a little bit higher than the median. So we're talking maybe a 6. With my nicotine tolerance, it's about a 6, between 5 and a 6. If you have less nicotine tolerance, you'll probably rate this at a 6.5 to 7. Again, not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. I think this is a worthy one to have in your snuff arsenal, and I would certainly buy some. Again, I'm not really sure about the cherry aroma in this, or spicy cherry, but even after sniffing it, even a few minutes after sniffing it, I'm getting something really pleasant and really fruity. If there is cherry, it's a slightly alcoholic cherry, as if Kirschwasser cherry liqueur was used as part of the casing for this, or topping. Yeah, a solid 4, worth having. Okay, so that's the review. Nicotine slightly higher than average, maybe bangs a little bit if you've got low tolerance for nicotine. Perfectly acceptable. This is one you might enjoy as a dessert snuff. You certainly will enjoy it as a nose opener. It's very pleasant. In some ways, and don't take this literally, but in some ways this reminds me of good old-fashioned Smith Brothers or Luden's cherry cough drops. If there is a cherry there, it's a slightly artificial smelling, slightly boozy, slightly medicated smelling cherry. So that's it. Okay, we are done with the English part of the review. Gracias por su paciencia, mis visitadores que hablan español. Soy tu tío Squinty y hoy día, estamos revisando este que se llama Buccaneer. Buccaneer es pirata, un tipo de pirata. No sé si existe la palabra en español. Hey Siri, how do you say Buccaneer in Spanish?
In Spanish, Buccaneer is Bucanero.
Bucanero. There you have it. Se llama Bucanero, Buccaneer. De Simply Snuff de Inglaterra, Simon, mi buen amigo allá, ha creado un rapé nasal de un molino bien fino, más o menos fino, y la humedad media, está bien. Es muy fácil para aspirar, para oler, y tal vez vas a disfrutar este, aunque creo que la descripción en Mr. Snuff no es exactamente preciso. Precisa. Mi español hoy, perdón. Ya es súper sedoso el grano, el molido. Muy, muy, muy bien hecho. Hablando de humedad, una pellizca, mi tercera de este revisto. Gracias por su paciencia mientras esperaron para esta parte de la presentación. La próxima vez voy a empezar con español. ¿De acuerdo? Okay. Here we go. Ya mucho mentol. Un poquitillo de alcanfor. Es bueno. No es buenísimo a mis gustos, pero es buenísimo. Es bueno. Súper fácil para tomar. Se queda en las fosas muy bien. No causa muchos mocos. No produce muchos mocos. Abre los paisajes de las fosas y sinuses muy bien. El olor es algo frutal y algo, un poquito picante, digamos. Tal vez porque el menthol, alcanfor y tal, pero no es, por la descripción, no es una cereza picante. No, 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 no. Es algo muy lindo. Aprecio mucho este perfil de aromas en este rapé, pero no es exactamente como describen en Mr. Snuff. Es mi única queja, creo, con este. Nicotina, buenísima, la verdad. Típicamente estimo el nivel de nicotina en rapés nasales en un rango de 1, que significa no tiene nada perceptible de nicotina, y hasta 10, potencialmente peligrosa o peligroso para ciertas personas. Si sufres problemas con su corazón, presión arterial y tal vez a tener mucho cuidado con nicotina en general y este también. La calidad 4 de 5, me gusta. Probablemente no a comprar una segunda vez porque no es a mis gustos, pero es muy, muy, muy rico y fácil para aspirar. Es una buena adición a su armada, su arsenal de rapés nasales. 4 de 5 en calidad, 6 de 10 en nicotina, fácil para oler. Es todo. Desde el famoso sótano secreto aquí en el estado de Minnesota, aquí en los Estados Unidos de Amnesia, yo soy tu tío Squinty, Paul Shellbetter. Gracias por mirar. Okay, guys, that's it. Long video. Sorry about that. Good snuff. I think you will enjoy it. Not exactly as described, but what is.